Hello and welcome back to Copic in the Craft Room. It's Michelle Houghton here, and this week I am going to be stamping with my Copic markers. I've done this before. I've got a fun new stamp from Penny Black, and I found a photo reference on my phone. This is a Coneflower, and I really wanted to match some more realistic colors this time, so I've got my colors all picked out, and I'm going to set those off to the side. I did test them. You can kind of see I did some testing before I did my stamping. I've also got a mister. All that is a little spray bottle, and it's got my Copic colorless blender tucked inside of it. I have set this up on a stamping pad piece, and that way I can re-stamp this image. And you'll see me do this at the end, that as areas don't stamp very well, I can actually re-stamp easily. So I'm starting with an RV83, kind of a light red color, and I am filling in all of the petals. And so a couple of great things about this process is I can take my time. I have sped this video up, but in reality, you're not seeing it a whole lot faster than what I really am doing it in. I'm not worried about it taking a little extra time because I'm going to re-wet this before I stamp it. And so if it takes a few minutes to find all those petals, separate it out from the stems, the leaves, I can take that time. Obviously the base layer, just because I'm filling in, goes a little bit quicker, but because sometimes it's hard to see on these stamps what's what, I can take my time and not worry about it. V04 is the next marker that I'm using, and the second piece that I love about this process is because I am re-wetting those inks and I'm working on top of a rubber surface versus paper. A lot of colors that aren't necessarily natural blending groups or a little bit further away can blend fairly well. I'm not going for a complete smooth blend. I'm going for more of a watercolor look. I know that with this process, that's more what I'm going to get. But because I'm using coloring it all on and then re-wetting it, I do know that I can push some of those colors, changing up the color family, the saturation, the value, and really get some nice results. So I'm working from the inner edge of the petal and flicking outward a little bit, and then coming to the tip of the petal and pulling some of that color back inward as well. I'm not as concerned about flicks with this process, the actual stroke, and I'm just kind of laying that color down on top of that stamp. The last color I am pulling out is an RV66. I use that in even less amounts. It just doesn't need as much. It's my darkest color that I'm going to put on the petals, and then I will be ready to move on to the centers and the leaves. So the centers of the flower are next. I'm starting with a Y38 and filling those in, all three of them. And then I am using a YR14. I'm dotting or just dabbing some of that color in just to add some texture. Again, I'm not going to get super tight detail. YR27 is going to be the last color I dab into those the center portion of these cone flowers. I can't get that fine, like, detail look that flower actually has. I'm just going to get the feel of it. So YG63 is where I am starting those stems and leaves, kind of carefully going up in between those petals and some of those areas. Some of it obviously is easier to just color and fill in, so that part happens fairly quickly. Hitting each of those leaves, coming in the great part is sometimes if I've accidentally hit an area with a petal color, I can actually push it back out with those greens. YG67 is coming in next, just to add a little bit of shading. Got those stems, kind of the bottom edges of the leaves. And I did a little bit kind of at the center and outward. I'm keeping it really simple. I just want that sense of shape and form. So then I am ready to re-wet this. So I've got my little mister. It has the Copic colorless blender in it. And I am going to mist over the whole stamp and go ahead and stamp. And you can see which parts stamped really well, and there's a couple that didn't. And I can even see the ink left behind on my stamp. And then I am going back, misting those areas one more time. I needed to do one more down on the leaf, a little more. And I think I am just about there. Thank you so much for joining me this week on Copic in the Craft Room on YouTube. Make sure to follow our channel so you can get all of our new videos in your inbox each week, and check us out over on Facebook as well. Either location, you are more than welcome to leave comments and questions. I am always listening. Thanks for joining me, and have a happy, colorful week.